Praise the Lord, everyone. First and foremost, giving honor to God, who's the head of my life, to my leaders, Apostle Meditaries. I'm going to jump right into this video. So your comfort zone can be things you're, familiar with, and it's easy to you. But we have to get uncomfortable in order to get what we need from God sometimes. And I can speak for myself. I've always been a soft-spoken and just a quiet person. So I always had trouble talking in front of crowds. And I remember one day in church, the Lord told me to get up and testify. And I was so scared and startled. I was like, what am I going to say? I'm going to look stupid in front of all these people. I just did it anyways. And I had to do that to eventually overcome being afraid to speak in front of people. Even though I barely say much to begin with, I don't want to not speak up because I'm afraid of what others might think of me. And it's so crazy because now I speak more even though I'm still quiet. We have to get uncomfortable to grow because God isn't just going to just hand us our deliverance or hand us our breakthrough or hand us anything over to use just like that. We have to put in that work for it in order to get it. Because if he sees that we're not trying, then that's telling him you're not serious. Faith without works is dead. We have to put in some type of work to reap back. And the things that we face in life, our trials, our tribulations, makes us uncomfortable so we can turn to God more, so we can seek his face more, so we get to know who he is even the more. He has to put us in uncomfortable situations and positions because he is making us, like the potter's wheel. I'm pretty sure the clay doesn't feel good when the potter is shaping and molding the clay. And the clay is, bent up and getting stretched and getting shaped in different directions, but at the end, it turns into a beautiful masterpiece, after it went through all those other stages that it needed to go through, to get the form that God has intended it to be. And once it's done, it can be used to serve its purpose fully, whether it's if the potter made a cup or a bowl or just a beautiful vase. And one thing's about clay, it's very hard to break. So let the Lord make you and work on you because we have to step out of our comfort zone. If you know you have a problem with fasting and praying, start by, setting a time aside and building it up eventually. If you have trouble reading your word or spending time with God, try changing the atmosphere or the scenery you're in. Go for a walk and talk, and meditate on the word at the park or anywhere because honestly, you might have to change the environment that you're in to hear God better. Whatever it is, we have to take the steps we need so we can get what we need from God, so we can grow in him. It might not feel good, but it's up to us. Pray my saying the Lord. Thank you.